Hey, what's going on, guys? With Nexomon really becoming a franchise of its own, the developer took to Twitter and asked the community what type of spin-off games they would like to see until the release of Nexomon 3. With that being said, I could see spin-offs being utilized in between launches moving forward, whether it be Nexomon 3 or beyond. So as of such, I figured I'd talk a little bit about what spin-offs would be interesting to see and what would be realistic, given the fact that the developers of Nexomon are an indie studio and would likely be working on the spin-offs in-house, unlike what we see with Pokemon. With that being said, I did have quite a few interesting ideas, and who knows, maybe the devs will see this and consider some of them. But anyways, sit back, relax, and let's dive right in. So my initial thought when I heard Nexomon was potentially going to get a spin-off was something like Pokemon Stadium. I saw the idea kind of thrown around on Twitter and I thought to myself, yeah, that'd be awesome. You could do mini games, PvP, some select 3D models, etc. Now the issue with this, however, is that Pokemon Stadium as well as Coliseum and XD were developed by Genius Sonority, not Game Freak. Being indie developers, I don't see a realistic way for them to get something like this done, and would likely take even more time to develop than a Nexomon sequel. With Nexomon 3, at least they already have the core battle and overworld engine, as well as a large chunk of the assets and models that can be recycled, but making the leap to 3D for a spin-off title seems a little unrealistic. I think if they are going to go the spin-off route, unless they're planning on outsourcing their IP to a different studio, I think we need to sort of ground our expectations a little bit. Now with that being said, there are a few routes they could take, and although not as cool as having a full-on stadium title, I could still see something fun to keep people entertained, at least in part until the next iteration of the main series. Now the first idea I had was something in the same vein as Pokemon Stadium, but instead of having 3D models and a bunch of mini-games, it could be just battling with the assets that they have. Now I would like Nexomon Extinction to adapt PvP in engine, but I could perhaps see a Pokemon Showdown-like app for your phone where you could battle people online and instantly choose your team, your cores, etc. without actually having to obtain them in game. Preferably this would be something that you like pay $5 for and it doesn't have any microtransactions, or if they do, they're just cosmetic or something like that, but you get the gist of it. It would allow Nexomon to tap back into the mobile market and give us on-the-go PvP. They could add a lot of cool features like allowing you to choose a character when you battle. The characters could be a mix of people from Nexomon 1, Nexomon 2, and even Micromon, because why not? You know, maybe they could also have an offline battle mode where you could battle NPCs, etc. They could even add some sort of ranking system as well as different tiers like we have in Pokemon Showdown, as mentioned earlier. This app could also double down as a way to transfer your Nexomon between games should they go that route. Now another idea I had, and this isn't really a spin-off but sort of fits in the same vein as keeping people tied down into the next release, and that being cameos. As many of you may know, Monster Crown, Monster Sanctuary, Koromon, and of course Cerulean Ultimate have all collaborated to have crossover monsters between games. I'd love to see Nexomon join in on the fun and have some of their monsters appear in some of the other games, and in turn have those other games' monsters make an appearance in Nexomon 3. I'd love to see some Nexomon make their way into games like Cassette Beast, Koromon, Cerulean, Anatons, etc. And of course vice versa. I think the fact that the vast majority of monster taming games are indie titles gives this idea more merit, and despite Cerulean bringing in the aforementioned franchise's monsters, I think the concept of crossovers is still underutilized and would love to see it expanded even further across a wider array of games. Okay, so the next idea I had also takes a little bit from that sort of stadium idea, but is a little bit more realistic, and that being some type of minigame collection. This again could be a mobile title, and I'm not pushing mobile because I'm a big mobile fan, because honestly I'm not. I just think it's good from a business standpoint, as there are tons of people asking if Nexomon 2 is getting a mobile release, and don't forget Nexomon 1 got over 1 million downloads alone, so making some level of a mobile Nexomon experience is just a good business practice. Now I don't have too many specifics in mind with regards to which minigames we could see, but I'm sure the team could come up with some sort of assortment of 8 to 10 minigames that could feature some sort of connectivity and leaderboards so you can compete with your friends. Each minigame could be something simple like the Swarmy Rush from Koromon. You don't have to have anything crazy. I think just having a bunch of them and having the ability to compete would be really nice. This game could also include some achievements, unlockables, cosmetics, and stuff like that. If they are more adamant with having a PC experience, which I personally think would be ideal, I could see them doing something similar to perhaps the Mystery Dungeon franchise where you play as the actual Nexomon themselves and go through some type of story, but I could see them having a bit of a twist on it. It would be really cool if they did some sort of Metroidvania instead of just a top-down RPG, as it would really differentiate it from Pokemon. It doesn't have to be turn-based battles like Monster Sanctuary. Realistically, it could just be your run-of-the-mill Metroidvania with different playable Nexomon characters, and each could have a special ability, and they could have a story on top of that to boot. I know for a fact from playing Nexomon Extinction that they're very capable in the story department, so I definitely would like to see something like that. They could also have various boss battles that take from the Tyrants or the Dragons or the Children of Omnicron. And overall, I think it'd be pretty interesting to have an Nexomon experience with a completely different gameplay loop. So yeah guys, this video will be on the shorter side, but I just thought the idea of them having various spin-offs was so interesting that I had to talk about it. There are tons of other routes they could take. These are just some of my personal interests. For example, there's potential for puzzle games. I mean, a racing game would be pretty cool. They could even have those graphic novel type games. They could also do something like Patch Quest, which is a shooter, etc. I really want to extend this into a broader discussion with you guys in the comments. What type of spin-offs would you like to see to keep us engaged until the release of Nexomon 3? I'd say keep it realistic because again, they are an indie studio, but even I'd love to hear your guys' unrealistic ideas too. What kind of crazy Nexomon games would you like to see if it was possible? Let me know in the comments below. And with that being said, if you did enjoy the video, make sure to like and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, GymLeaderEd. Check out my Patreon where you can see these videos early. Until next time, peace.